From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, April 22nd, 2024. We'll start off this week with an area of low pressure across the Prairie provinces, bringing some light showers, maybe some blustery winds as it makes its way through. Generally light precipitation with this one. Otherwise, a mostly quiet week. That storm track generally south of the Canadian Prairie here. A couple of big storm systems that'll be lifting in late week, impacting primarily the central U.S. Those temperatures seasonally variable over the next 7 days or so as subtle little areas of low pressure traverse the region. Now, we'll start off with the satellite picture. You see that classic swirl across the Prairie provinces, the center of low pressure right now over portions of central Saskatchewan. Again, this is bringing in just that chance for some very light shower activity. We'll look at the radar here. Very early on Monday morning, you can see that tight circulation here. Those showers wrapping around the area of low pressure as it slowly kind of drifts off to the south and to the east. You can see the front out ahead of that associated with this as well, bringing in that shot of slightly cooler air. Not a dramatic difference in the temperatures as we look across the Prairie here Monday morning. You can see those temps a little bit cooler where we've got that cloud cover and precipitation anywhere from close to the freezing mark into the 3 to 4 degree range. Out ahead of that warm air feeding northward. We've got temperatures approaching 8, 9, 10 degrees across southern Manitoba. And then behind that, we've got those temperatures starting to moderate as well. So this area of low pressure moving through, not bringing a sharp drop in temperatures, also not bringing any real significant precipitation to the region. Now, as we look at the last 30 days of precipitation, again, as we go back to kind of the earlier part of this period, we did bring several systems into parts of western and southern Alberta. And then last week, we brought a storm in here that brought quite a bit of precipitation, primarily to portions of Manitoba and then in north of Highway 16 in portions of central Saskatchewan. We'll look at the last 30 days in terms of a percent of average. Again, where you see the red shading, Edmonton, a lot of central, portions of Alberta getting into western Alberta up toward the Peace River region. A lot of Saskatoon, Regina, you really missed out here. And then really portions of southern Manitoba as we look at compared to, the last 30 days, the average overall, really, missing out on the big storm system that came here as we get closer to the U.S. border. Now, the next 7 days from the European ensemble model, again, fast flow across the Pacific. The pattern remains active, but over the next 7 days, the storm systems that come in here are going to be kind of diving down across the Four Corners region, ejecting across the central United States. So as we get into week 2, that I think we'll start to get back into a more active pattern, a little more high impact across the Canadian Prairie. This is your week 2 precipitation forecast. So you see the pattern here again. Next week, really kind of focused on the central U.S. And then over the next the days 7 to 14, we get some systems that lift a little bit further north. And that would put the Prairie back kind of in the crosshairs for some of this more high-impact precipitation. We can see what that looks like here with the European model, 500 millibar jet stream winds. So kind of our mid-level jet stream winds. As I bring this back to the beginning of the loop, here Monday morning, there's our little compact area of low pressure, bringing the showers and the blustery winds to the Prairie right now. Couple degrees drop in the temperatures in parts of Saskatchewan today. This one gets out of here quickly. This is as we get into Tuesday, kind of joins up with the flow and makes its way down into the Midwest of the United States, and we are kind of quiet on the backside. So here's your Tuesday evening jet stream winds. Really unfocused, quiet, calm conditions aloft. That gives us pretty quiet conditions down near the ground as well. And then as we head into the later part of the week, you see this kind of subtle little system trying to bring in some cloud cover, maybe some extremely light shower activity late week. But really, as we head into the weekend, much more of the jet stream flow going to be associated with this trough developing across the western United States. So we'll get several storm systems. You see one right here, another one here, another one trailing across the Pacific. These ones kind of march in across the southern U.S. into the central U.S., a little bit too far south to get us across the Prairie. But that changes. We'll go through the weekend here. This is April 27, April 28th. We start to get into next week, Monday, Tuesday. We start to see another one of these systems coming in. This one brings a little bit more flow into the Prairie. This would open the door to more in the way of impactful precipitation in the last few days of April, the first few days of May. We'll keep our eyes out for a potential storm system in that time frame. Now, as we kind of zoom in, look a little more locally, the next 3 to 4 days, here's that system that comes in on Monday, that being today, clearing out Tuesday, Wednesday to the rest of the week here, and then we get another system that tries to come in. This is that little disorganized area of flow kind of mid to late week, Wednesday, Thursday, bringing that very, very light chance for some disorganized shower activity. Over the next 3.5 days, this is the total forecast precipitation associated with the Monday system. Again, we're talking about 5 millimeters of precipitation or less. Not a soaker here by any stretch of the imagination. We'll run this out into next week, kind of look at the bigger pattern picture overall, bringing it back to Monday. Here's your little subtle system that gets out of here, leaving us with a quiet Tuesday. This is a quiet Wednesday. And then as we get into Thursday, Friday, here comes another little system. Very light precipitation associated with this one. Not any more impactful than the storm that's moving through today. This would gets us out to, Thursday night into Friday. You're seeing that more high impact storm system. Heavier precipitation, that chance for severe weather across the central United States as we head into the weekend, April 26, 27, 28. Still kind of caught between across the prairie. Certainly possible. Some areas are seeing some showers as we head into the weekend, but the higher impact, more significant precipitation missing the prairie until at least we get into next week. And this is when you start to see that pattern opening back up, giving the opportunity for some higher impact storm systems to again lift into the prairie. We're all the way out here to Tuesday, April 30th at this point, though. We'll roll it out to the end of this loop Tuesday. Getting into Wednesday, you see that system kind of lifting in. We'll just kind of know that we don't have the specifics nailed down at this point, but this is your next opportunity to kind of get back into the fun of these more active spring storm tracks. So your next 7 days, the probability of picking up a half an inch of precipitation or more, you're not going to find it across the prairie. You know, you can see the system or the storm track, I should say, that dive and then lift just too far south of the prairie at this point. It's certainly active across North America. It's just not active across the prairie over the next 7 days. We expect that to change again heading into week 2. As we look at those temperatures, kind of seasonally variable. You know, we'll get some periods of warmer than average temperatures. We'll get some shots of cooler air, pretty typical April week ahead as we look at those temperatures again on the mild side over the next few days, heading up to a high of 17 on Wednesday in Calgary, 12 to 10 for the high on Thursday and Friday. You see this just kind of seasonal variability as little systems make their way through. Get a little shot of cool air before we warm back up on the backside. Saskatoon, here is Regina, and then we will finish up with Winnipeg. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you're able to take advantage of maybe the quieter week across the region before we get back into another period of active weather heading into the last days of April and the first week of May.